Hello, everyone. Hey, let me ask you a question. How much do you think leadership costs? Is it $10, $100, $1,000,000? I don't know that answer, but one thing I know, leadership is not for free. Leadership costs something. You know, it costs you energy, it costs you emotional drain sometimes, and leadership costs you a lot of self-discipline. It's much easier to tell others what to do than actually do it by yourself. And we all know leading yourself is the hardest thing to do. Maxwell says that everything worthwhile is uphill. Everything positive, everything that means growth and prosperity, health, influence, building character, this takes our energy, our focus. We need to consistently work on it, and it doesn't come for free. And the opposite is downhill. Downhill is easy. It doesn't take any self-discipline. You can just let it go and slide down. Nobody wakes up just overnight on the top of the mountain, meaning nobody just comes naturally, just like that, a great leader. You have to climb every step of the way. It's work, it has to be intentional, but to get up top of the mountain here, it takes a lot of effort. There's also nobody that will just carry you all the way uphill. It's on you. You have to put in the work. Friends, they can encourage you. Mentors, coaches, they can guide you, but you have to put in the work. Also, many people, they have great ideas. They are inspired. They have, just great intentions. And then are some, they also put things into practice. They actually can create actions out of it. Not so many can do that. And I believe that self-discipline is the bridge between these two. Let me try to draw a nice bridge here. Self-discipline, I believe, brings the good results out of good intentions and good ideas. If we want to climb uphill and become a great leader, we need to master our habits, because habits have a great influence in our lives. They shape of what we do and who we are. Habits are so powerful, they either work against us or for us. Bad habits like just getting up late, scrolling endless hours through Facebook, or not drink enough, they will have an impact on our life. And they make us weak and lose impact. Self-discipline helps us to build great habits. Habits that support us in becoming more strong and overcome obstacles. And it all starts with our thinking. Bad thinking creates bad habits. If you always focus on problems, you always see problems and create excuses for bad results. If you focus on possibilities and opportunities, it will make you take responsibility and action steps. We all know the word procrastination. It's a huge word, but it means to just push out what you actually should do today. And that's a very clear downhill habit. Somebody with a self-disciplined mind, they tell themselves, all right, I'm going to tackle it today. I'm going to do today what is a next step. For example, if you really don't like to go to the gym, but it's crucial because after the first few steps, if I have to climb up a building, I'm already exhausted. So tell yourself, hey, maybe I just go for 10 minutes on the treadmill. When you start doing something and take steps and become active, sometimes the momentum kicks in and then it's much more easy to just continue. For example, you start walking on the treadmill and after 10 minutes, you're like in the flow, the energy comes and from 10 minutes, it becomes 20 minutes. That's how self-discipline works. You start, become active, and you gain momentum through this. Sometimes being self-disciplined and looking at others who just let it slide, watch TV the whole time, eat pizza, and just enjoy their life feels unfair to us. You try to put your time in wisely, you read books, you exercise, and it can get you frustrated, you know? And so today I just want to encourage you. There are only two kinds of pain. One is the pain of self-discipline and consistent working on getting better and growing. And the other pain is the one that comes later. The pain of regret, the pain of looking back and telling yourself, oh, I missed this great opportunity. You know, in short, you can say you pay now and you can play later. Right? It's like saving money. It feels really hard at the moment to put money aside, but it will reward you when you're older to have peace and comfort because you have some savings. If you're not disciplined with your money and you just spend it all, it feels easy today, but it creates a lot of problems later. Self-discipline feels the easiest in areas where you are strong in and talented and also passionate about. For example, if you are a great singer and you love it, it's easy for you to practice every day and become better. But if you don't really enjoy it and you also are not gifted with a nice voice, you can work out and exercise every day. You will never become a Justin Bieber. So to really know where your strength and your weaknesses are, it's crucial to also know where to invest. You have to be real and honest with yourself, you know, where to invest your time. I would say you should invest 80% of your time in the areas where you're really strong in, and only 20% in areas you see still a lot of improvement possibilities, right? Let's call it weakness. Because you will never be a great salesman if you're shy and you don't like to people. But maybe you're a really brilliant and valuable accountant working in the background and you are so crucial to the whole team. Let's think about the sport athletes. You know, these guys come up with so much self-discipline. They train hard every day. How can they do it? I believe they have such a high level of inspiration. They set a goal, winning a medal, joining the Olympic team. That's why this inspiration, this vision they have, it's like fuel, like gasoline in their engines. And you need to ask yourself, what is your fuel? What gives you so much energy? What can be your inspiration to go and work hard every day? An important part also as leaders is that we are consistent. You know, consistency builds trust. And it takes self-discipline to not just let your emotion get the best of you and show up to work and let your team feel all the struggles and challenges that you maybe have in your private life. So to overcome this and be balanced and create a safe environment for your team takes a lot of self-discipline, but is crucial for your team to grow and feel safe with you. Leaders are able to stay still, be calm, and keep their professionalism, even if around them it's like in a storm or a hurricane and problems arise. It takes also consistency. If you go to the gym just one time, you will not see anything. It takes consistency over weeks to really compound and add on to your success. You know, many people, they don't start with a good habit or doing something, put something in action because they feel their goals are way too big and they can never reach it. Maybe you think like, I need to really go to gym every day now, or I need to read a book every week. But this is not possible. And most of the time you will be frustrated after a short period of time. So to put small goals, but actually start moving is crucial, because small wins, they create momentum. And momentum can build your confidence up. Confidence again strengthens your self-discipline. This is like a circle of growth as a leader. You know, the good thing is that self-discipline, it's not a gift, it's not a talent, it's something you can develop. Everyone can become self-disciplined. So I want to challenge you today to find the areas you're strong in. Find good habits. Put gasoline on it with a great inspiration. Let yourself be inspired by others. And let's become self-disciplined leaders who can create a safe environment for our teams and be role models and examples in our leadership.